Flosstube, it's Paula, and this is my channel, Stitching in High Heels. This channel is primarily about cross stitch and occasionally other crafts like crocheting. Someday I'd like to knit and possibly some quilting, and some ramblings about life in general. For those of you who have been subscribers, thank you. Thanks for sticking with me. I know it's been a hot minute since I did a video. It's been a crazy 6 or 7 months here in our house. But things have settled down and it's time to get back to recording videos. And for those of you who are new, thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll come back, stick around, press the like button on the video if you like what you see, maybe subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, you know, all the YouTube stuff. So, part of why it's taken me so long to get another video together is I was getting overwhelmed with just kind of the preparation for a video. So I decided to jump in. I'll talk a little bit about the one of the finishes I had that I know I showed previously, and some whips that I've been working on and a couple new starts, and also the Queen City Stitchers Mirabilia retreat, which I was fortunate enough to attend this past weekend. And let me just say, wow. It's taken a little bit to process this. I know some folks have some recap videos up already. I'll give you my take on it and refer you to some other folks who have some great videos. So let's jump right in. And the first thing I have is my finish, which I know I had talked about previously. Sorry, I've got a pile of stuff over here. And this is a Mill Hill kit. This is Autumn at the Beach, or Beach Autumn, I forget, or Fall Beach maybe. Let me get this. And bear with me, I've got a new camera, so I'm trying a new setup here. But this is my finished piece. I'm probably going to get one of those Mill Hill frames that I can put it in and have it here in my craft room. So this was a fun stitch. Sorry about the glare on that button there. Bunch of beads, pretty much full coverage in the areas that it was stitched on, but this was definitely a fun stitch. So that's my finish. And then I've had a few new starts since the last time we were together. And these are in no real particular order, these three. As a matter of fact, they're almost in reverse order, I think. So the first one is, this is from Teresa Koget's Patreon group. I'm a member of her Patreon group. And this was her ornament for September, I believe. And this was just too cute not to stitch. And so this is actually even though I belong to her Patreon, this is the first Teresa Koget chart I've actually stitched. I own several. As we all know, collecting's a totally separate hobby. So this is my first Teresa Koget ornament or piece of any kind, and another first for me in this is my first stitch on 40 count. I picked up a piece of Verdal from Bestitch Me. Verdal is an even weave, similar to Lugana. All the threads are the same thickness, which is why we call it in cross stitch what we refer to as an even weave. And this is in the color Sand Dollar. And here's where I'm at. So I just need to finish up the deer scarf over here. And the 2023 I think is down on that side. So that's where I'm at there. Again, bear with me guys, because I'm just learning this new camera. But that's where I'm at there. Hopefully, I think I have a conference call tomorrow when I'm working from home, which is when I've been working on this. So hopefully I'll have a finish on this the next time we're together and I can show you that. And my next two starts are directly the result of watching Stitching by the Shore, Laura from Stitching by the Shore. That's the name of her YouTube channel. She also has a Facebook group, Stitching by the Shore Laura. And it's a great group, lots of fun, very positive vibe. And Laura does some very interesting things. She's very interested in color. She used to be a paper crafter, and she's done a lot with color. And now she'll do different color challenges, give you a family of colors, and say stitch something, finish something with a couple of these colors in it. It's interesting and fun, and it's a neat way to kind of expand how you think about your stitching in some ways. But she decided that she was going to stitch Blue Dreams by Barbara Anna, and kind of came up with a stitch along for it. So here's the chart cover. I bought a PDF from creativepoppy.com, but that's the chart cover. And I'm stitching it with all of the required materials. I just happen to have a piece of the terracotta colored Lugana. This is 32 count, so that's the color I'm stitching on. It's kind of blowing the color out there. It's a little redder than it's showing. It's showing pretty brown here, but it does have a nice clay or deep coral color to it. And that's as far as I've gotten with that. So this is a fun stitch. It's an easy stitch. I hope to get some more work done on it. And then this next stitch is, we started this beginning of June maybe, and this was Laura Stitching by the Shore along with Beth from Crafts and Books, and the Steadfast Stitcher is her YouTube channel. So they decided to do a stitch along for Summer Quaker by Lila Studio. Let me take it out of the plastic. There's a huge amount of glare tonight. Sorry for any of the crinkling that you're hearing. Let's see if that's any better. There's still quite a bit of glare on this. I'm sure you guys have seen this, but this is the chart cover. It's Summer Quaker by Lila Studio. And here's my progress. So I started in the middle because my margins on the sides are going to be kind of tight, and I was afraid I was going to mismeasure. I'm doing this with all the called for materials. I happen to have the called for fabric, which is, it's a fabric flare. I think it might be, I don't, you know what, I'm drawing a blank, guys, I'm sorry. I'll look it up and remember, but it's the suggested fabric. And there's where I'm at. I'm doing 2 threads over 1 on 18 count Ada, and this is with the suggested DMC. So I haven't had a chance to work on this recently, but this is a fun stitch, an easy stitch. That'll probably go to work with me every once in a while because I'm at a point where it's fill-in around those waves. And then like this is another I've been working on this piece. Whip is a work in progress. I've been working on this, well, I started it probably almost a year ago and had quite a bit of time where I didn't get any stitches in on it, but I wanted to get it done for the Queen City Stitchers Retreat, and I did not. I grossly underestimated the amount of stitching in the dress, but this is a Mirabilia from 1994 called Garden Verses, and she's just gorgeous. You know, we always talk about it, but it's true. Cover pictures just don't do justice to some of these pieces. She's still in the Q-snaps because I am still working on her. I worked on her last night. I'll probably work on her some more tonight after I'm done filming here. But here's where she's at. So I've gotten on the other side, I'm all the way across. This is the bottom, which is the widest part. And I'm working over here. I worked in this area here last night. Yeah, the colors are better there. And then once I get above here, it's going to narrow it down because it'll be, as you can see, this is the widest part. So I've got all of this done, and I'm working over in this part here. So I got all of this done, and I'm working over here. But you can see once I get done, then it's just her arm, her face, her hair, and hopefully I'll have a finish before too long. So this is 2 over 2 on 32 count mushroom Lugana, which I believe is the called for. Or it probably calls for linen, but this is similar to what was called for. I bought, this chart was copyrighted 1994, and I bought the chart probably right around that time when she came out and kitted her up not too long afterwards, and just never started her. So I really wanted to take her to the retreat, and I did show her off a little bit, but I just couldn't get her finished. So it's called for DMC threads, except for the metallic. The metallic, it called for, I believe, that old DMC stuff that was on a spool. and in one area you stitched with 2 strands of that, and another part of it wanted you to stitch with a strand of that and a strand of dark brown floss. So I'm using 2 colors of DMC Diamante. I'm not sure how you say that one. One is gold with a black wrap, and that's what I'm using for the darker color, and then I'm using just a gold. If anybody's interested, I can provide the colors. It's not too bad to work with, but I would highly suggest Treasure Braid if you're looking to kit this one up. And see if you can get a darker gold and a lighter gold, because it's almost for shadowing. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of tough to see, but like the darker stitches are here, and then it goes to the lighter. Kind of works with the shadowing on her dress. So there's where I am with Garden Verses. And maybe this will get picked as my cover shot. And then at the retreat, there was before and at the retreat, and even, oh, I just had a crash there. And even after the retreat, there's a loose stitch along or start along for Charlotte by Mirabilia. She's a newer chart than Garden Verses. She was released, I don't see her release date here. I think it was like 2016. And I had all intentions of getting her started before the retreat, and that of course didn't work out because when I was stitching Mirabilia, I was working on Garden Verses. But I did start her the first night at the retreat. And I'm stitching this on a piece of cross-stitch fabric from hemp from, I believe it's Jackson Studios on Etsy. I picked up a couple pieces of her fabric. It's all 30 count. It's got a nice weight to it. It's easy to stitch on. This is, the light's kind of blowing it out. This is a very light spring green kind of color. And that's where I got to on Charlotte. So I'm kind of put her down a little bit because these pinks are pretty bright. I'm not sure. Yeah, they're showing up pretty good there. So those pinks are pretty bright. And when I think of her, I think of the darker colors in her dress. So hopefully once I get some of those darker colors mixed in there, it'll kind of tone down these pinks a little bit. Through the course of the weekend, I spent a lot of time debating about whether I was going to continue on this fabric, start on a different piece of fabric, because maybe the fabric was what was making those pinks look so bright. Or there was a stitcher, and forgive me, I forget who it was, but somebody did a blue conversion on her, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I think I'm going to continue with the pinks, get some of the darker colors in, and see what I think about her. But she's going to be, I'll pick her up here and there. I don't have any plans to work on her immediately because my other start at the retreat, I started this with Kelly from Pages and Stitches on Flosstube. I'll link her below. And this is Snapdragon. So this is a Nora Corbett. It's a little smaller, and it's one of her flower pixies. And I just love the purples in this. She's absolutely beautiful. Kelly's stitching her on a really pale green. I think she said it was Serene by Picture This Plus. And I was initially going to stitch her on a piece of pale gray, possibly a Fog from Picture This Plus. And then I found a piece of beautiful pink fabric in my stash. And again, this is blowing it out just a little bit. It's a pretty rosy pink, little bit of modeling. I believe it's a 28 count. I looked on my spreadsheet where I keep track of my stash, and all it said was 28 count variegated pink. It says it's a Zweigart. I'm not sure. I think I picked this up when Mary Jane's Cross Stitch was going out of business, and they were discounting a lot of their supplies. Let's see if I can get her closer. Yeah, it's really washing out the color of this fabric. But I got all of the DMC 550 in her down the sides of her skirt done. Now it's easier to just start filling in some of the colors. And I think I think Kelly's going to put a picture. We took a picture of the two pieces together. I think she's going to put that in her video, so watch for that. But this is where I got. I'm happy with this. This is 2/2. And it's probably going to be my work piece for a while because it's a nice, easy stitch. I started this on Friday morning at the retreat, and I stitched more on Friday than I did on Saturday. Saturday I spent a lot of time visiting and checking out what everybody else was working on. But that's 2 days worth of stitching. I'm pretty pleased with where I got to on that. So, the retreat. And I know you're going to see lots of recap videos. It was an absolutely amazing weekend. I'm so glad I was able to go. It was organized by Amy, Fiber Arts Amy, and Maggie from Kitschy Whips. And they just knocked it out of the park. It was amazing. The hotel was great. Everybody at the hotel, we had it at a Courtyard hotel, and they were just amazing. And the space was amazing. We had a ballroom with windows. There was lots of light. I took a couple portable lights, and I used the portable light in my room because everybody else seemed to have a floor lamp in their room, and I didn't realize until it was too late that I was that they had one. I thought it just wasn't, that there wasn't a lot of great light in the room, so I used my portable light when I was stitching in my room. So I got there Wednesday evening and got in late. I shared a ride from the airport with a woman named Linda, who I think we got to be friends over the course of the weekend. I hope we'll keep in touch. Hi, Linda, if you're watching. So we shared a ride. We sat together at the table and had dinner together. It seemed we have quite a bit in common. Our stitching tastes are very similar. It was a lot of fun getting to know her. So we shared a ride to the airport, and she'd had to wait for me for a while, and I wasn't terribly hungry, so we didn't do dinner on Wednesday night. But I did go back downstairs for a while after I got checked in, and I was initially going to stitch for a while. But I ended up visiting, and I was so excited because I walked out of the elevator and I saw Lisa from Cross by Floss, who I really wanted to meet in person. I've been watching her videos, and she does tons of Miras. She does Mira May, Nora November, and she does great vlog style videos with those, which I love to watch. I love that format. And her regular videos are great too. And I wanted to meet her, so I got to meet her, and she was visiting with Janet Jabber, and it was really cool to meet Janet as well. And then there were lots of Flosstubers there. There were lots of people who didn't have floss tubes. But I also got to meet over the course of the weekend Denise from Black Ribbon Stitch Studio. Denise I love watching her videos, and she's just as funny in person. It was great to get to talk to her for a little bit, and she was sitting their table was next to mine, and I got to hear her laugh very often during the weekend, and that was just great. Allie Z was there. She has a floss tube also. Memphis Sarah E., who I talked with and visited with for a little bit before I realized who she was. Jordan, the tattooed stitcher, was there. I think she was sitting at that same table. I didn't really get to talk to her. And then Rogue Mama Stitcher. I'm drawing a blank on your first name. I'm sorry. But she was at that table too, and they had a lot of fun. The brag table, I kid you not, the brag table ran the entire length of the ballroom on the back wall. And with tables along that whole length, we didn't have enough room for everything. There were some pieces that were stacked. I've got a really brief video that I'll put at the end. I mean, because the creativity and the artistry, it was just amazing. There are some that are done. There's a June bug that was done on 46 count. There was one of the Bewitching Pixies done over one on 28 or 32. I don't know. She was tiny. There was Milady's Garden was done on a very small count. There was a Mermaid of the Pearls done on looks like a printed fabric, and I think that one was done over one, along with Rose Arbor that was done over one. So I'll put my video in. It's not that great. It was my first time. But definitely go check out Memphis, Memphis Sarah E. Wow, words are tough. She has a good video. She has a great video. I know Kelly from Pages and Stitches has a video of the brag table. And I just saw, I think it was Amy, Fiber Arts Amy. I don't think it was Maggie. I think Amy has a video up of the brag table, and it's like a 15-minute video. I'll definitely link that below. It's worth seeing. I mean, people were just, they're crazy talented, and there are all sorts of pieces that were being worked on in the room. Pieces that I really had never been interested in, and you see either somebody's work in progress or a finished piece on the brag table, and you're just like, wow, you know, it's, I need to get that piece. Or pieces that charts that I've had in my stash, and I was walked away going, well, why haven't I stitched that one? I got to go home and start it now. So it was great. And the energy in the room was wonderful. We were blessed to have Nora Corbett as our guest. And I didn't realize till I got to the retreat that this is Nora's 30th year as a designer. So she's celebrating that anniversary. But she was oh so generous with her time. She spent a lot of time in the room chatting and visiting. On Sunday, I'm all messed up with my days. Friday morning, the first morning of the retreat, there was a meet and greet, and we went by table, and she would sign up to 2 items. I had her sign Echo Lake, which is one of her newer charts, but was inspired by a lake not too far from where I live, and apparently not someplace that Nora's visited. And I had her sign the exclusive design that she designed for the retreat. Also, if you go to Amy or Maggie's channels, they have pictures of their finished. They stitched the models for it for the retreat, and they have pictures of that. I think it'll probably be released eventually. I know Nora generally has done that with some of her other retreat pieces, so keep an eye out for it. But it's going to be a fun stitch, and I hope to get that started shortly too. I had initially intended to start that at the retreat, but then when Nora signed my chart, I didn't have a way to make a working copy of it, so I didn't want to mess up my good chart. And so I'll get that copy made and get her started soon too. Let's see. So I shared a table. Linda was at my table. There was another Paula at my table. It was kind of an interesting experience for me. There were 4 or 5 of us named Paula at the retreat, and I'm usually kind of the only one around. But we were kind of spread out, so it wasn't terribly confusing about who was who. And then Cindy from Utah was at our table, and I'm drawing a blank. Names. I believe it was Jennifer. I don't think it was Jessica. Jennifer. And Donetta from Connecticut was at our table too. And we had a lot of fun. We laughed, we stitched, we frogged, we laughed some more. And I know you're going to see lots of videos where everybody's sharing everybody at the retreat was just so generous. You'd come back to your table and there'd be somebody would have dropped off a little gift, or somebody was walking around. I mean, I have some gorgeous needle minders from some folks, floss cards from some folks, just different things that people were dropping off around the table. One woman brought, and this was great, I never would have thought of this, but they were caps for the the straws on our water cups. And I know you're going to see lots of videos where the retreat swag bag items were in there, so I'm not going to cover all that. I am going to go over a few of the special things that I got. So this bag with some goodies like some hand cream and some hand sanitizer and a skein of floss. Let's see if you can see that. It's blowing out. This says Queen. This is the logo. It's the Queen City Stitch Retreat logo, and it's a nice heavy canvas bag with a zipper. This came from Paula at my table, and this was another little bag of goodies. I think it was Jennifer. It might have been Cindy, and I apologize. Oh, there's a card in here. Hold on. Yeah, Jennifer gave these. This was great stuff. There's a pin cushion in here, some of those clips to use instead of pins, a real small pair of scissors, which is great, one of the boo-boo brushes, some of the silicone spool covers that you can use on your Q-snaps. There's the scissors. Oop, the scissors that were in mine. Pretty much everything you might forget, but that you need was in there, which is really cool. Sheba Designs, and I'll link their shop below. She does amazing work. She did, she had 2 separate fabrics, and she did bags for people at the retreat. They were pre-orders. So this is the fabric I selected. This is a regular size project bag. It's all fabric. She gave us the choice of vinyl front or not. I prefer not to because I don't want to get anything stuck to the vinyl. But it's nice because they have a handle. And then I got the thread bed to go with it. So this has got a clip for your floss ring and for your needles here. So I can't wait to use that. This has my retreat project in it. And then it had came with the little tag so you can label what's in it, and a couple of charms, a rose. Oh, come on, don't focus on my. It's not going to focus on them, but there's a rose and a maple leaf. So I'm very pleased with that. And she also, her shop was there. I didn't get over there because I was afraid. And I also kind of spent quite a bit of money at the Grace Notes Fabrics table because their fabric is amazing. And then this is a neat little gift from Lisa by Crossed and Floss. And it's a couple of needle minders. And then there's metal in this little picture frame. She covered it with fabric. And the needle minders match. So this is good because it'll sit on my table and my needles will be there. That's really cool. Janet Jabber this is a bead minder. Let me see if I can take it out here. And it's on a ring. This is very cool. It's on a ring and it'll sit on my finger like this, and it's got a tacky surface here, and she put a crown underneath, if you can see. Yeah, my focus isn't great on this camera. There's a crown here anyway, and it's a tacky surface, so when I bead I can put this on my finger and grab my beads as I go. So I thought that was really cool. And then this is the beautiful project bag. Let's see. I'm still learning my focus here, people. This was made for me by Pages and Stitches. Just a really cool fabric in there. By Kelly from Pages and Stitches. And she included a really pretty needle minder, and the card is here. She got it from Flower Town Originals on Etsy. I'm going to be checking her out. That's a really cool needle minder, and I love the size of this. It's more of a square, so it'll fit my 11-inch Q-snap. And this is currently housing Snapdragon, since Kelly and I are working on that together. And then instead of a smalls exchange, we did Amy and Maggie decided that we should do a notions exchange. And first I was a little stumped, but then, you know, there were some cool things you could do with that. And my gift came from a lady named Anne. And this is a bag. And she stitched one of Nora's purse designs on there. It's beautiful. And the handle is beaded and the clasp is beaded there. I love this, and it's pink. And Anne made this bag. So the outside is cross stitch fabric, and it's lined with this really pretty pink flowered fabric. I love it. And she filled it up with all sorts of cool things that I didn't have. She included one of the little Stash and Store, the little. Now let me take it out of the box. They're the organizers, and you can put your scissors and such in them. I'm sure you've seen these around. So it sits this way, and hold your scissors and everything there. That was in there. She included a pack of wet ones, so it's almost like she knew me and how messy I can be. There's this cool, it's a needle threader and a cutter. And it's in the shape of a hummingbird. Let's see. Come on. There you go. So that was cool. An unstitcher, which I had never seen before this weekend, but it's a nice, almost like quite a thick needle with a nice handle, so you're not picking out stitches and sending your needle flying across the room, which I'm famous for doing. a Snag Nabbit, which I've never had one before, and I'm happy to have it. She put a bead minder in here too, and this one's magnetic, so I can sit it on my fabric. I'm really excited about that. And then there's this little tin, and it's a sticker with the Queen City Stitch Retreat 2003 on the lid, 2023 on the lid. And then it's a waxer, and it's in the shape of a crown. And I'm gonna have to work on this camera with the focus. But I thought that was really cool. I've never used wax either. I used to use Thread Heaven back in the day, so I'm excited to try out the wax and use that. And there also little goodies. Here's a needle minder, and it says if you can count, you can cross stitch, which is very, very true. And a zipper pull with a lobster clasp, and it says Queen City Stitch Retreat 2023, and it's got a crown charm on it, so it's very cool. I was very happy to get this. I picked it because it was in a really pretty white with gold gift bag. Oh, and then there's also a small nail file in here, which is perfect, and some crown glitter, which I'm going to hang on to as a cool remembrance of the weekend. So thank you again, Anne. Oh, her card is in here. She used 10 count vintage cloth in the color Heritage to stitch the outside of the bag in 4 strands over 2. And I'm not sure. I think she's got an Instagram, which I'll check, and if she does, I'll link it down here. But thank you again, Anne. This is great. I love this, and this bag is pretty. It's going to sit here on my desk in my stitching area and hold my little treasures. The other thing, everyone who attended got a door prize, and this is going to be difficult for me to show because it's wrapped in plastic and I don't want to unwrap it. Some of the charts were out of print, some of them were newer charts, there was some fabric. I mean, the door prizes were excellent, and everybody got one, and then they had some extra ones that were given away just for some random things, like name 3 people in the room who put stitches in on Santa's Magic, and some other little contests. We also played some games, which were really cool. They were trivia games, and Catherine from Color and Cotton organized that and set up all the technology and stuff. You could play along on your phone. That was a lot of fun. We did one each day. On Thursday evening, they did a kind of just a getting to know you kind of thing to test out everybody's connections and everything. And then Friday was general Mirabilia trivia, and Saturday was a how well do you know your Mirabilia charts trivia. It was a lot of fun, and really it ran really well. But my door prize was the Cottage Fairy. Let's see, I think you can see her there without too much glare. She's in a plastic covering. So she's beautiful, and I don't have her, and she's another one. She is from 2002, and I'm not sure if she's still in print or not, but definitely one that I will be looking to stitch. And we did, they did raffles, and they had a whole lot of charts. They had several that were out of print. They had 2 Lady of the Flag charts. They had Fairy Idol. They had a whole lot of charts. And those the money raised by that raffle went to benefit the Charlotte County, or the Douglas County, anyway, the Humane Society in the area, a shelter for dogs and cats. And we raised a significant amount of money for them over the course of 3 days. And then they went around and they drew. You could put your raffles in the box for whatever, whichever charts you wanted. So I was very lucky. I should have gone and bought a Powerball ticket that night, because maybe I'd have had, my luck would have carried over. But I got, I won the Dreamer, which is another one that I don't have. That she's also from 1994. I don't believe she's readily available, and the colors in her are just gorgeous. And this was my unicorn chart. I was very blessed by this. This is one of the last charts that they raffled off through the evening, and this is Fairy Idol. She is out of print. She's from 1996. And I'm not sure why I never bought her, because I fell in love with her right away, except that I know she calls for beads and water lilies, and I think when she came out, I was thinking she was very expensive to kit up. And I didn't know she was going to go out of print, so lesson learned, right? And then the last thing I won, and these are all still available, and I saw these were on the brag table, stitched together on one piece on 25 count, even weave, over one, and that's what I want to do. I know the fabric I'm going to use. I got to put an order in with Grace Notes when I figure out the sizing on this. But this is the In My Garden series. So I got all 4 of them. They were raffled as a bundle. This is Winter in My Garden. This is Autumn in My Garden, which has always been my favorite. I don't know if you can see, she's got some pumpkins there, and you can see you get the sensation of the cool breeze, the crisp breeze blowing. This is Summer in My Garden, and the colors in that are just gorgeous. And this is Spring in My Garden. So I just really like the Art Nouveau feel of all of these, and I can't wait to get them done. Like I said, I spent some money at Grace Notes, and I picked up some fabric. Everything I picked up is 32 count. This is, and they're going to be blown out a little bit, and I'm sorry guys, but this is Celebrate 2023, which is a very pretty pink fabric. This is a Lugana. It's a fat quarter. I picked up Seltzer, which is a really pretty mottled blue-gray. Again, and this one's a fat quarter as well. Let's see what I can do. So there's modeling to it. Like everybody says, the modeling always shows up more starkly on the camera. This one is actually a piece of linen, and it's called Nora, and this, Corinne did this for the retreat. It was color specifically for the retreat. And this is a gorgeous blue-green, a really clear green-blue, I'd actually call it. But it's gorgeous. That's a fat quarter as well. This is called Mystery, and this is a fat half. And I'm thinking this might be for Garden Prelude by Mirabilia. This one's going to blow way out. And it looks more mottled than it is, but it's a really pretty green with like a gray, gray mottle to it. It's very subtle in person, and it's just beautiful. This is Aqua Fresca. And again, it's a Lugana, pretty blue, light blue. And if the green doesn't work for Garden Prelude, I'm thinking about this one. It's also a fat half. And last but not least is, what is this? This is Swiss Mocha, also a fat half. This is pink with like a brownish modeling to it. It's really pretty. I'm actually thinking that this might be good for Zelda by Mirabilia, except that I don't have it, so I'll probably have to get the chart. And then last but not least, Amy, Fiber Arts Amy, has started a new business dyeing fabric, and her business name is Oak Crown Studios. I'll link it below. I'm sure lots of you have seen it already. But I picked up from her a piece of this fabric, which is Coral Garden. And I got it in Lugana because the colors aren't quite as stark as linen because of the way the colors take the dye. But it's basically a yellow base, and it's got pink and blue patches in it. And I have a very specific, that's a fat half, and it's 28 count because that's what Amy had with her, and it'll fit. But my plan is to do these two charts. This is Petal Fairy and Bliss Fairy. And I'm going to do them facing each other. Let's see if we can get away from the glare there. I'm going to do them facing each other, but so that the flowers and the stems are touching, they'll form almost a heart with the fairies in the middle. And they're going to go on that piece of fabric. So I've been doing pretty good about not collecting things, and that was a big collection. But I had planned on it for the retreat, so I don't feel bad at all. Like I said, I'm going to insert my quick video of the brag table here. But if you want to see a more detailed video of the brag table. Definitely go see Amy, Fiber Arts Amy's video. She put up a video that is specifically the brag table. They're going to be doing this retreat again next year, but it's not going to be Mirabilia themed. It's going to be in October. If there's a Facebook group called Queen City Stitchers, I believe, on Facebook. I'll link it below. But that would be your source for information about that. They are going to have a guest artist. They have not said who it is next year. So some of us spent some time trying to think who it is that Amy and Maggie stitch a lot of, and maybe they would invite. We're not sure. But it was just a fabulous weekend. It was, the vibe in the room was positive, and everybody was cheering everybody on with finishes and starts. And I mean, there was a woman there who started and finished her first ever Mirabilia at the retreat. It was, I think it's Lauren in Blue. It's the lady, it's like the portrait, just a lady and her shoulders. She's wearing a blue dress, and she's absolutely beautiful, and she's stunning. And like I said, this woman started her and finished her. She was her first Mirabilia ever. Hopefully that means she's going to be doing more. Oh, and I said that we did a meet and greet with Nora on Friday, and they had planned an hour for the meet and greet. And Nora was so gracious with chatting with everybody and taking pictures, and that, yeah, it was like maybe 2.5, 3 hours to get through all the tables. There was 150 attendees, and Nora did take a break in the middle, but she was it was a great experience to get to meet her. On excuse me, on Saturday, we had a question and answer session with her that was supposed to be an hour and definitely went over. She talked to us about her creative process and where her inspiration comes from, and just different parts of how the business works and how Witch Hilt manages her business and what she does. And it was just really, really enlightening. She also was generous enough to bring a sketchbook with her and show us some of her sketches from some of her designs, which was really, it was interesting because there were some notes on some of them, and could see how she laid things out. So it was incredible. And Maggie and Amy, just their organization and setup and everything, they just blew it out of the water. Allie Z spent a whole lot of time helping them. So I don't know if I got to see you, Allie, if you're watching this, before I left, but thank you also. She did a lot with the raffle tickets, and it was incredible. And the hotel was incredible too. And just everything went as well as could be expected. So hopefully I'll get to go next year. Again, watch. I'm sure Amy and Maggie will both talk about it on their Flosstubers. There's the Facebook group. I believe it's going to be 2 weeks later. I forget the dates are. It's like around October 17th next year. I think it's going to be like the third weekend in October, maybe. And it's going to be at the same hotel. And I believe signups are going to start January 1st. And I think they're going to do the same as they did this year. It'll be a lottery system, and they'll have a block of rooms at the hotel. So if your name gets picked, you pay your deposit, you'll get a group rate at the hotel until those rooms sell out. So if you're interested, definitely keep an eye on that. I know lots of us are talking about, we hope we get to go next year. And I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm still trying to process everything that happened over the weekend. It was just so much fun, and it was so much fun to meet people like Janet and Lisa and Denise and Sarah, and just find out that they're just as genuine in person and as much fun in person as they are in their videos, and to actually meet and get to talk to them in person. So that was great. I know I'm forgetting people that I met and talked to, and I apologize. There were just so many people, and everybody was just friendly, and it was just so much creativity in the room. So if you ever have the opportunity to go to a retreat, I highly recommend it. Hey guys, it's Paula. I'm back again. It's now Thursday, October 12th. I filmed this Tuesday evening, the 10th in the evening, and the battery on my camera died. And I thought I changed out the batteries and was able to record the rest of what I wanted to say, and apparently I didn't. So the camera cut out on me. I was saying, I highly recommend if you have any opportunity to attend any kind of a retreat, definitely go ahead and do that. I did go to one that was several states from my home. I could have driven. It was a long drive. I chose to take a flight. That was an opportunity that I had. But definitely there's retreats all over. I know there have been a couple in Maine recently. There was one in New England. Or actually there's one in Massachusetts coming up this weekend. So they're all over. And there's all different price points. So keep an eye out. If nothing else, grab a couple of your stitching friends and go stay in a hotel or an Airbnb, something that you can afford for a weekend, and just enjoy the time together stitching with friends. I just can't recommend it enough. And actually, there's another really affordable opportunity coming up for a virtual retreat. Probably you guys all know about it, but this is going to be the second year for the Jingle Ball, which is organized by Lindy Stitches, and there's 12 designers. They get together, they design some exclusive designs, and they run some classes which are optional. There is one class that's free for everyone to attend this year. Last year went really well. They had some technical issues which they were fortunately able to work out quickly. They've switched platforms and they feel that it should be a much improved experience. So the dates on that are December 1st through 3rd. It's a weekend. Starts at 6 p.m. on the evening of December 1st and runs 24 hours through, I forget what time on the 3rd. The price for admission is $10. The tickets are available online. I'll link the jingleball.net is the website. I'll link that below. Or you can go to any one of the designers in there. If you follow their newsletters or their social media, they've got information. So the designers this year, of course, are Lindy Stitches, Hello from Liz Matthews, Satsuma Street, Hands on Design, Kathy Haberman, Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I'm trying to remember who else. Teresa Kogut. You know what? I don't remember all 12. But Tracy Horner from Ink Circles. Definitely go check it out. It's it's probably the best value you'll get for $10 in cross stitch. Check it out. Definitely, if it's something that you're interested in or available for. Ticket sales start tomorrow, October 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern. But since it's a virtual event, they'll sell tickets right up through the event if you suddenly find that you're available for the weekend and want to jump in. There are some classes, like I said, which are optional and they're scheduled. There's meet and greet sessions with the designers. The designers will have a merchandise booth with designs. There's exclusive designs for the Jingle Ball. There's merchandise available, all the things that retreats have. There'll be sections in the event that are set up as tables for retreats where you can go hang out with people and just sit and stitch and enjoy the camaraderie or participate in discussions. Really, it's a great time. I did this last year and I had a blast. I had to work, and a lot of what I was able to do was to watch the meet and greet sessions with the designers, but that was really cool because I got to know things about them that I maybe hadn't known before. Oh, and Janine McGowan from the Blue Flower is another designer. She's a designer that I really got to know a bit more about that I really hadn't had any knowledge of before last year's Jingle Ball. So that's where I was at. I was talking about how wonderful retreats are. I was encouraging you to participate if you can. And then I was going to talk about my plans. I'm pretty much a stitch what I want stitcher. However, October is Laura Stitching by the Shore's birthday month. So every October she does a Laura's Pumpkin Birthday Sal or Stitch Along, Start Along, whichever applies to you. And there's a hashtag which I will put down below. if you want to participate. And it's stitch on any design with a pumpkin, with pumpkin colors, which, as she pointed out, is really easy these days because pumpkins are coming in all sorts of colors. I mean, teal, white, orange. And use the hashtag. She's on Instagram, she's on Facebook. So if you're interested, feel free to go ahead and participate in that. I've got a few things that I'm going to be starting for that. At least one of, but probably more. So one of them is Pumpkin Fair, which is this design here. And the glare's a little better today. So you guys have probably seen a bunch of these. The first, it's by October House Fiber Arts. They did Strawberry Fair, Honey Fair. Helen D did stitch-alongs for both of those. I got as far as buying Strawberry Fair and pull my threads and fabric. I never got a stitch in it. Hopefully I'll get this one started, and then I'll go back and catch up on Strawberry Fair. And then another one that I'm going to start is Pumpkin Blossom Inn by Melissa Vandergraaf from Pinker and Pumpkin at Blogspot. I'll link her blog below. She has a ton of freebies on her site. They're all very well done, and like I said, all the charts are free. So here's what this one looks like, and my printer chose, I didn't even know I had photo paper in the printer, but this is a picture of the finished piece. But I'm changing it up a bit. I'm going to make my house blue. I've got a really pretty blue, beige, gray variegated from Victorian Motto. And then I'm going to make these stars, obviously something different. I don't know if I'm going to go with a lighter beige or what I'm going to do for them. But I'm going to be stitching that. This looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to put that on the same 40 count Sandcastle Verdal that that I'm stitching Dancer's Friends on, the Teresa Kogut that I showed you guys before. And then this is a newer design from Stacy Nash. I think this came out at the last, that wasn't really market, whatever the fall event where designers released a lot of charts. I'm not sure if Stacy Nash participated in that event. There were also designers who didn't strictly participate but released a lot of charts around the same time. And this is Farm Market Pin Keep. And I also have a piece of 40 count Artemis by Bestitch Me Verdal, which is the same bluey gray like this is stitched on. But really, what's not to love? There's pumpkins and flowers. There's the dog over here, this stitching spool. I'm not completely sure I'm going to do this roof because I think I've talked about before. I'm really attracted to pieces with houses in them. I'm not so keen on stitching houses. I kind of get bored partway through. But you can see I've got two here already that have a house, and another piece that I'm really excited to start is the Patreon piece from from Liz Matthews that she she released for her Patreon subscribers for September and October, and this is Flowers and Friends. This is another blue house, great fall colors. I'm really excited to stitch that. She does make a note, and I didn't even notice they were there at first, but there's some little spider webs in there. And she said you can easily just leave them out, which I may or may not do. I'm not a big Halloween stitcher, but I do love fall, and I think the colors in this scream fall to me. So she has different levels of her Patreon, and I'm in the level that gives you access to the free chart every month. I forget what it's called. I'll look it up and put it below. Let's see. Other than that, I talked about Jingle Ball. I talked about my plans. That's pretty much it for me. I'll go and get this put together with my previous video and add in my view of the brag table from the Mirabilia retreat. And then I'll say so long for now. I'm going to try to get back here on a more regular basis. Maybe I keep thinking if I do videos more regularly, the prep won't be quite as overwhelming. I'll take some better notes, you know, all the plans. But until I see you, I hope you have lots of stitching time, that you're feeling creative and inspired and enjoying the change in seasons, whether your weather's getting warmer, if you're down in the southern hemisphere, or cooling off up here in the northern hemisphere, and that you're able to enjoy that change. So see you soon.